Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Thursday, the 5th day in the month of October 2023, and fast moving. Good morning once again. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Morning Spring, right here from Western Spring Television, the station that says it as it is. You can trust us when it comes to that and other and quality. Just let me put it that way. This is a program designed to definitely enlighten, educate, and entertain you the best of ways and the best of form. We delve deep down into everything that needs to be stated that you and I need to know, and you can be rest assured you'll get quality from here. Welcome to today's edition, Thursday, as we gradually coast home to a weekend. I always like this aspect, but then it brings more job for the weekend. Tunde Idowu is my name, at Irresistible TD on X. Welcome you on behalf of the entire transmission team. Good morning.
Good morning, Tunde. Good morning,
Femi.
Nigeria. Good morning, world. And it's a beautiful day to be alive. As we usually say, life is sacred and it's a gift as well. When you go to bed last night and you open your eyes and you're still at this part of the realm, you should be grateful. Because when it's part of anything and everything, we are still here.
Absolutely.
Of course, the nation is still standing, and hopefully, by God's grace, it will always be standing. This nation of ours, good people, great nation Nigeria, we welcome you from every corners of the earth. So you're listening to this program, possibly through the social media platform on X, on Facebook, on Instagram at Western Spring Television, on our YouTube channel, which we are live right now at Western Spring Television. We welcome you. Good to know that you are there. On this program, we look at the headlines, what are the stories that have made its way to our major dailies for each day and for today, especially as well. And at the other side of that, we get talking about issues of public importance, trending topical issues. That's what we look into here at this time, every weekday, 7 a.m. Femi Ojo is my name. We'll welcome you. And today is quite a very special day, especially for tutors, for people who instill knowledge.
Absolutely.
In us at every strata, from the cradle to the upper part of life, crèche, playgroup,
basic,
kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, pre-nursery, nursery, primary, post-primary, that's secondary, high school, as some may call it, and the tertiary institutions, celebrating every is World Teachers Day 2023. So if you have a teacher around you, you should celebrate one.
Can you remember any of your teachers? Who was your favorite? Secondary school days, because I know the tertiary institution got lecturers.
Yeah, putting me on the spot.
Yeah, which of your teachers can you remember his or her name? And
I can remember quite. I think my primary one teacher was
up to the primary level.
Yes, I think Mrs. Yusuf.
What subject did it take you guys? Did she take you guys?
He's primary one.
She was the teacher.
Class teacher.
Oh, Mrs. Yusuf.
Yes. And Mrs. Oni. Yeah, funny enough, when we were in primary school, public primary school, by the way, in my place, I don't know, Methodist primary school. Yeah. I won't tell you the town, by the way. So, you'll find that out. You get to understand the female teachers. We call them mommy. They were older people, obviously. And you see them as a figure, and the male teachers, we call them Baba.
It's like somebody calls one of our directors of it, Baba.
Very good old days. But then those people have this aura of honor, some aura of fear.
Absolutely.
When you do something wrong in the house and your parents tells you, I will report you. You just tell them, from today, I won't do that thing again. I promise you. And the system those days, they call you out publicly. Whatever you do is on the assembly ground.
Yeah.
When you're on the assembly ground, they check your fingernails.
Yeah.
And then you see your nail very dirty. You see a ruler.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some of those people will remember what I'm talking about. Celebrating every teacher.
Absolutely.
Setting your head straight to know that this is what you are supposed to do. But then, is that the situation now? Times have changed.
Just as Femi has rightly stated, we celebrate all teachers, all amazing teachers. There were some whereby you never want to see their faces, and there were some you always run up to them and hug them. I remember you guys, one or two of you guys. Yeah. You guys are awesome. I want to say thank you for instilling that discipline into our lives. That's why, at least after God appearing, we will say, yes, our teachers were our God at that
Many
moment.
of them are father figures and mother figures.
Absolutely.
They are quite an important character in many students' life who have turned out badly, enough for the fact that those people put their legs down to say, you will be a good person.
But before we go to the dailies, by the way, did you guys give any of your teachers nicknames or something?
Let's go to the dailies. You don't want to know.
We'll take a short break right now, and when we return, we'll go straight into details, making the rounds from the various dailies that we have. Stay with us.
Hi. King Eve, how are you today?
I'm good, I'm fine, I'm alive.
I really feel like she's not giving the right answer to the question. When one asks you, how are you, and you said, you're saying, I'm alive. It's very annoying, seriously. How are you? I'm fine. I feel I'm fine would be the right answer instead of I'm alive. Not that I asked you if you're dead before.
Go and check all these 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, everybody, they are extraordinarily sexually active.
I feel is being unnecessarily hyper when it comes to the issue of sex, because we talk about other topics and he feels so reserved. He really doesn't have anything much to say when it comes to other stuff. But when it's the issue of sex, I believe he's being unnecessarily hyper. That's when I have to pick an issue with him. I mean, it's just being unnecessarily there when we're talking about sex. Just like a child, his mom just got him his favorite chocolate or ice cream, very happy, doing as though if he doesn't have sex for a day, he's going to die.
When it comes to finance, women also support their husbands financially. You need me emotionally. You need me spiritually.
Cassie is an amazing person, but I hate the too much attachment to that gender. I need you spiritually, I need you mentally. I can get these things anywhere with money. If you go by the topic was, who does marriage favors the most? You know how many jobless women they marry every Saturday? They are saying it favors you, favor. Are they vex so?
Growing up, when I was in the world, we've heard of
Who are you now?
Well, MC Too Much said, he likes saying when I was in the world. And the last time I checked, well, it looks a bit innocent, facially, but deep down, he's actually out of this world. We're all in the world now. As long as you're alive, you're in the world. So, MC Too Much, I beg when you talk about that. I don't want to hear that. Next time you talk, I kiss my voice.
I think I have a problem with you saying ladies are champion, and that's the problem. Always trying to attach too much importance to that gender.
It's giving insecurity, it's giving low self-esteem, it's giving a blatant display of egoism. Because at the end of the day, a man who is secured in his worth, a man who is confident of who he is, will not really be disturbed as to whether women are being referred to as champions or not. I mean, at the end of the day, Joseph's a really great guy, but whether he likes it or not, women are champions.
Welcome back, and at this moment in time, let's begin to check what the headlines from the various dailies we've got on the show for you, what they are saying, and quite a whole lot of stories. So they're making the rounds together at this time. taking my first set of headlines from the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper, the big bold caption there says, economic crisis. States borrow 446 billion naira from banks to pay salaries. State borrow 46 billion naira from banks to pay salaries. You have the names of the banks: Access, Fidelity, Zenith, lend state 46 billion naira in 6 months as governors battle poor IGR. And Fiscal Responsibility Commission issues guideline to banks on lending to state MDAs. All right. And you have the picture of the CJN there, Justice Ariwola. But the writer there says, judgment based on constitution, not public opinion. That's credited to the CJN. That must have been an ephora there. Yeah, judgment based on constitution, not public opinion. Moving further down, 5 Katsina Varsity students kidnapped. Police nab informants. Teacher's car crushes pupil to death in Lagos school. Why? Oh, sad. Ministerial nominee faints. Journalist dies in National Assembly shuttle. Wow. It was a moment to be scared yesterday, seeing the nominee after reeling out quite a whole lot slump on the floor of the Senate yesterday. But thank God he was revived and he was resuscitated, revived. And he's back on his feet at this moment in time. All right, we wish him the very best. On the top strip there, Chicago Varsity vindicates Tinubu. Presidency insists Atiku files document. Okay. Chicago Varsity vindicates Tinubu. Presidency insists Atiku files document today. FG to convert 10 million PMS vehicles to CNG. I don't know, maybe to convert mine as well. I won't mind if I can get that assistance as well. And Naira among Africa's worst currencies falls by 40%. That's credited to the World Bank there. Really, really sad. Really touching that the Naira isn't amongst the currencies of the nation of the world at this period in time. But we know we will bounce back. The Naira will bounce back. We will definitely bounce back. These are some of the headlines making the round from the pages of the Punch newspaper for today.
All right, and from the Punch, I'll go to the Tribune, the Nigerian Tribune for today. Senate amends rules. Yes, first-timers can't contest for Senate President Deputy. All right, and Tinubu seeks Senate confirmation. I think that has happened. Maybe I should leave that and go to, yes, let's do The Guardian for today. The Guardian newspaper. Let's leave that and go to The Guardian. Crisis looms in varsities over mass exodus of lecturers. Crisis looms in varsities over mass exodus of lecturers. And you have the breakdown of IPPIS salary payments there in the picture, and the chart here. Graduate assistant 123,170, assistant lecturer 141,314. This is based on CONWAS 2 of 2019. Lecturers 2, 160,000 naira. Lecturer 1, 202,000. Senior lecturer 285,000. Reader 347,000. Professor earns 422,768 naira 33 kobo. That is what this chart is saying. A professor, 422,000 naira. You know what you do to become a professor?
How many years it takes?
And somebody has possibly has one SA somewhere or SSA
picking over
ends that or end close to that just for being an SA to the SA on SA matters. All right, you know, so many things happen. To employ a single lecturer, you have to go through 7 MDAs. Talking about the bottlenecks now. That is Ministry of Labor, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, Federal Character Commission, Office of the Head of Service, IPPIS office, starting with the National Universities Commission. That's the MDAs that you have to go through for a lecturer to be employed. That's quite some bottleneck there. And the federal government last month approved 35% and 23% of salary increment for staff of all federal tertiary institutions. So you will want to pick up possibly a copy of The Guardian to read through that particular information. Moving on, beware of landmines, in parentheses now, or in inverted commas. CJN Ariwola wants new federal high court judges. Right? Gunmen abduct 5 female undergraduates in Katsina. Gunmen abduct 5 female undergraduates in Katsina. Economy bites harder as subscriptions to telecom services drop. Right? And tragedy in Senate as journalist dies. Ministerial nominee slums during screening. What a day. That was yesterday. Right? And Tinubu and the political option for Nnamdi Kanu. As an editorial page. A 62-year-old Benin socialite backed 12 years in jail for human trafficking. All right, that will be all for The Guardian, the front page of The Guardian for today.
And just as you ruled out that time, the amount paid to lawyers, professors, and I look at it and, wow, something drastic needs to be done. Moving on here, the Vanguard newspaper. I'll go straight to the Vanguard for today. And the big bold headline on the pages of the Vanguard newspaper says, State split over FG's 35,000 Naira wage award to federal workers. Okay, quite a whole lot of, a bit of rider associated to that story says, we'll key into FG's template that's created to Enugu, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti. Okay, where is Oshun probably coming? Then you still have Kebbi, Delta, Oyo, Adamawa, others to negotiate with workers. FG can't dictate to us what to pay. That's created to the Niger government. I'm sure that the governors of Enugu, Edo, Ondo, Ekiti, they are not saying federal government can dictate to them. So why is Niger now so confused and saying they can't? I'm not, and I'm definitely sure the federal government is not dictating to anybody. Yeah, it depends on what you can do. It's just an aspect of you negotiating with the workers in your state, the unions, and this is how much I can afford. If yours can be 25,000, if yours can be 40,000, if yours can be 200,000, why not? Rather than you say you can, the federal government can dictate. We just want an aspect where you can get this and get it right. Let's make this the workers happy as well. There is a need for that at this moment in time. Let's go on the bottom strip a little bit, coming further down, just below that picture of some of the governors that you're seeing, the governor of Kwara, the governor of Edo and Ondo State there. You have this headline there. Presidency, Atiku disagree over certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. Oof. Okay, 22 drowned as boat capsizes in Niger, 6 bodies recovered. We spoke about this yesterday. It was Kebbi, now Niger State. More, we just hope something will be done concerning this. And moving further this moment in time, Senate screens confirmed 3 additional ministers for Tinubu as Lawal slumps. Okay, and Ancelotti in the world of sports, how we caged Osimhen. Okay, it was almost something where it will have gone anyway, but then We'll see what the return leg looks like. We always root for our own brother any day, anytime. Okay, other headlines here. Terrorists abduct 5 varsity students in Katsina. 1 suspect arrested. Okay, federal government issues 2 weeks timeline for passport processing. Clears over 204,000 backlogs. So Femi, I want to actually look into this and wonder if this could have been done. Before now, we've seen over 100 or 200,000 passports. Really, what could have been the issue years back? That if you apply for a passport today, before you can get it,
it takes months.
Months running into years sometimes. But look at it. The new man in charge of Interior, the Minister of Interior, Olubumitunji Ojo. Seriously, at this point in time, I think he's one of the ministers I'm giving the thumbs up to so far. Because if this could have been done, I've heard issues of passport waiting. We don't have the papers. We don't have the booklet. We don't have this. But in 1 week, okay, federal government issues 2 weeks timeline for passport processing. Clears over 204,000. What could have been wrong? What could have been the reason that had caused all this way back?
Well, that is a question that possibly previous ministers and people in charge of that ministry, Ministry of Interior, should answer. But then, talking about Tunji Ojo, he made it clear what he wanted for that ministry from the first day.
Yes.
And every meeting, every opportunity he's been having, he's been talking loudly on, especially on passport application, either renewal or replacement of lost ones or new application, that he wants those bottlenecks to be removed. So it speaks to priority. For me, I think it speaks to priority. It speaks to somebody who possibly who have called the officers to say, guys, what exactly is the problem? Tell me what the issues are and let me fix it. The moment I fix it, then you have to do your work. You give them a mandate, and that possibly that's why we are seeing these informations that are being given, because we need, they are saying they are doing a lot now, but then we need to hear the testimonies from people. It's a different thing to say you're working on it or you have cleared it. Let the same people who have been complaining come. And I think it will only be fair for people who have gone on social media to complain about these things. The moment it's been fixed, I think the onus is on you to go back to that space and say, this has been done. Kudos to them, so that Nigerians will know that these people are really working. So for me, it's spiritual priority. Somebody who is coming, if there is nothing that he's going to do, he has made them to understand this passport application must be done and on time. Enough of always hearing no booklet, no booklet. But we've come to know, especially in the past, that if you have enough cash in your hands, there's possibility that you could walk in that day and come out with a passport, in as much you have enough to throw around. But then that is illegal. That should not be done. That should not be encouraged. You have been told the process is go online, fill out the necessary forms, then you are given a day to come for biometrics, and that should be all. It should not be a record sign. So Tunji Ojo is talking tough on this, and I think it means business. But then we must see that that business is being done.
And something I actually saw from one of the dailies again earlier today was that as from between December and January, you can do your online application.
That has always been there. The online application is there, but you have to still come physically for biometrics.
Kudos to the Minister of Interior, and you can trust us right here from Western Spring Television. We will always say it as it is. At this point in time, we're saying kudos. If let us remain on the kudos level. All right. Other stories on the top strip. World Bank paints gloomy picture of growth in Nigeria. Others. And just below that, Mohbad. Court remands Naira Marley, Sam Larry, 2 others. Okay. Court martial declares Major General guilty of $1.476 million theft. Wow. A Major General? CJN to judges. We must rise above temptations, trials. You're the last hope of the common man. And once The common man can't believe in you guys. Only God knows where we'll be. But thanks to you as well for always being there. That's the courts. That'll be all from the Vanguard newspaper for today.
Quickly to the Daily Times. The Daily Times for today. Chicago State University certificate. Presidency opens up. Waves off claim of forgery against Tinubu. Of course, you have a picture there of the nominee that slumped at the screening. I think that could have been, many persons are already having seen it as a red flag. Possibly this person has some illness, or possibly he is not strong enough. It could have been that, but then we are human today. Anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Could have been exhausted from different causes.
That's what he said.
Before he got there. So, everything doesn't really have to be political and, every of those things. But then moving on, you cannot forge what you have. As Rock says, okay, that's about the presidency opening up and waiving off claim of forgery against the president. Another writer says the certificate presented to ANEC, not from us, CSU official. Obviously, the last has not been heard. A joint gang at 7 killed 6 persons. A 14-year-old confesses. Sad. That's not the way a 14-year-old should go, or anybody. Mohbad, House assures on securing, paying compensation, royalties to family. Okay. On what and for what? Okay. Join me to build better Sokoto. Aliyu urges opponents. An international passport to be ready within 2 weeks. Federal government. Our cleared backlog of 204,332 applications in record time. Minister, go and collect your passport. No bribery. Good to hear. Senate thrown into confusion as ministerial nominee slumps. Still confirmed, by the way. That's the Nigerian stock market to admit 220 billion public infrastructure fund. That's it for Daily Times front page.
And just as we definitely do every Thursday, we'll bring you back a couple of years ago. And this is taking you back 1984, October 5, 1984. That's about...
That's 39 years.
That's about 1984, 39.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Just a bit older than me myself, but then 1984, the Guardian of 1984. This is what it looks like. And fortunately, it was a Friday then, but here we are. It's a Thursday at this moment in time. You have some of the, this is something that amuses me. Look at the picture quality. Look at see what the Guardian looks like in 1984. And look at some of the headlines making the rounds there. Judge quits in contempt of court controversy. And Jinadu, legal storm breaks in Lagos. Ojukwu, 13 others let out of prison. 7 officials suspended over role in 49 million naira contract. 7 officials. Okay, what are the other stories you have there? 39 years ago, government places order for 150 million science equipment. Are those equipment still functional?
39 years ago.
Oh my. 2 more gas explosion victims die in Germany. Sad there. All right. Look, some of the stories. Wow. I look at all these things and I like, wow, how time flies, evolve, and quite a whole lot. Yeah. No, it's a nice one, but then 39 years ago, wow, just a couple of, I wonder where some will have been.
All right, that will be all for this time, especially on the headline segment. We'll go on a short break. The program will continue very shortly. Please stay with us.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time. with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Idowu Oyeniyi.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girls got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Dramatist, playwright, and icon of Yoruba thematic arts, Duro Ladipo was born December 18, 1931 in Osogbo, southwest Nigeria. His clergyman father christened him Timothy. His other names, Duro Dola, Duro Shomo, Duro Rike, reflected his personal and the circumstances that surrounded his birth. The legendary stage actor had in several public fora identified himself as one of the greatest abikus born to die in this world. Family records reveal how he was born and died 13 times. The intertwining names he bore thus lent credence to his spiritism. Duro Ladipo was one of the best known and world-acclaimed Yoruba dramatists to emerge from post-colonial Africa. His notable works Obakoso, Obawaja and Moremi took him beyond Africa to several parts of the world. By the time Duro Ladipo died on 11 March 1978, the Nigeria's first cultural ambassador had acquired a towering image as an artist whose works adorned the frontage of Trenchard Hall, University of Ibadan. Western Spring Television identifies Duro Ladipo as a major character in history. Funmilayo Kuti was an educationist and advocate of women's rights. She was recognized for her vitriolic comments against colonial policy of taxation as it affected the Nigerian women. Bere, as fondly addressed by her women followers, Funmilayo championed the initiation of universal adult suffrage, which gave an unprecedented leeway for women to contest elective offices and power to exercise voting rights. Married to a foremost educationist and teacher, Israel Oladoto Ransom Kuti, the first president of Nigeria Union of Teachers, Funmilayo Ransom Kuti was the mother of children who inherited her spirit of activism. Olufela and Be Kololari, the former, a renowned musical legend. She was the first female student of Abeokuta Grammar School and the first female to own and drive a car in Nigeria. The award recipient of Member of Order of Nigeria MON and Lenin Peace Prize, was born on 25th October 1900 and was killed on 13th April 1978 by rampaging road soldiers in Lagos. Western Spring Television identifies Funmilayo Ransom Kuti as a watershed character in history. Hilas Olayinka Herbert Macaulay, politician, nationalist and journalist, was the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer, surveyor and architect. Born on November 14, 1864, Herbert Macaulay was the founder of Nigeria's National Democratic Party, the first political party in pre-independent Nigeria. Scholars of Nigeria's political history describe Herbert Macaulay as the intellectual bulldog of 19th century Nigerian nationalist movement, in the deference to his qualities as founder and leader of two foremost political parties, Nigeria National Democratic Party (NNDP) and National Council of Nigerian Citizens (NCNC). His matchless versatility in party organization and control kept the British colonialists on their toes in the entire span of his active life. After his death on 7th May 1946, Herbert Macaulay remains a hero of his country, which recognized his anti-colonial struggles. Today, Nigeria's 10 naira coin bears his oval face and trademark moustache. Western Spring Television identifies Herbert Macaulay as a major character in history. Kiriji War, also known as Ekiti-Parapo War, was waged among Yoruba main ethnic groups which emerged from the ruins of the falling Oyo Empire that were desperate to replace the awesome powers hitherto wielded by the Alaafin of Oyo. The Kiriji War is defined as a conflict of confederacy and unitary political system championed by Yorubas of different socio-economic and political interests. The Ibadan military aristocrats felt they deserved a dominant position for saving Yoruba land from being totally submerged by the Fulanis by their victory in Osogbo War of 1840 and Ijaye War of 1862. Kiriji War that
All right, you're welcome back. And today, as we said earlier, is World Teachers Day. So to every teacher out there today, it's time to clap for them.
Well, honestly, that's a beautiful.
Celebrating them from either the ones still in service or the ones that have retired, private schools, public schools, or even in any kind of, citadel of knowledge, learning. The basic primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions will celebrate you. In fact, the tech giants are celebrating teachers all over the world. Google, everybody, because it takes a teacher or group of teachers to instill knowledge, whatever anybody is today. But moving on, today is World Teachers Day. And the theme is the teachers we need for the education we want. The teachers we need for the education we want. The global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage. Now, I'm very happy that we have two teachers here with us today. And as they say, once a teacher, always a teacher. Of course, the gentleman here. And is that anything like a gentle lady? I was waiting for you to say the distinguished and elegant lady sitting with us here. I have Mrs. Funmilayo Olatidoye, who is a principal of a school, Zion Baptist High School, and a former principal as well of a government-owned secondary school. Mrs. Olatidoye, good to have you. Good morning.
Happy Teachers Day.
Happy Teachers Day. And of course, Mr. Of course, Aduai, and a comrade as well. Of course, Mr. Oyeniyi. I want to believe I'm correct. Yes. Wale Oyeniyi. Of course, we welcome you. Mr. Oyeniyi was Deputy Secretary General, N.U.T head office in Abuja. Of course, he's retired as well. Happy Teachers Day to you, Mr. Oyeniyi.
Thank you, teachers globally. I salute you. I commend you. You've done a good job. You have somebody who started teaching Jesus Christ. Was a great teacher. So all of us, all of them, they were emulating him. So happy World Teachers Day. World Teachers Day in the world.
All right, you know, looking at that angle, all of the icons, possibly from the religious and the leaders, were all fantastic teachers. Talking about Jesus Christ, talking about Prophet Muhammad, talking about the traditionalists when they speak to you and what the oracle says, and sometimes they instill knowledge and virtue in people as well. So, moving on, let's say ladies first. Ms. Olatidoye, who is a teacher? Who is a professional teacher? And what does it take to be a teacher?
All right. Well, I would say there's a teacher in everyone. There's a teacher in everyone. Because teaching is such a natural profession. Now, who is a teacher? A teacher is someone who has the passion, who has the dedication to instill knowledge in others. And that's why I said there's a teacher in everyone. As you are here, you are a teacher. Because you have some people, maybe younger professionals under you, that you are trying to bring up. As parents, we are teachers. Because we have to bring up our children. We have to teach them the basic tenets of living, the basic social norms that they need to know. And now, coming to the professional teacher. A professional teacher is someone that is trained, has gone to school, is trained, but apart from the training, the passion also has to be there. It's not enough to be trained. The passion with which to do the work, the commitment, the dedication, all those things are what makes a professional teacher. If you are trained as a professional teacher and you don't, deliver with passion, you don't deliver with commitment, you don't deliver with the dedication that the work requires, then it's not, your training as a teacher is not effective.
Well, okay, Comrade Oyeniyi, please, let's move further at this moment in time and look at the teaching profession these days. The teaching profession cannot be underlooked anywhere around the world these days. But looking at what teaching looks like today, would you say the teaching profession is still worth it?
If you see the theme of this year, what teacher discussed me, the type of teachers
we need
for the type of
education
that one wants. I think it should be garbage in, garbage out. And that's the truth. There's one aphorism that says, no nation can be greater than the quality of its teachers. And the African countries, they don't realize that. When we meet globally, you know, we have Education International, the world body of teachers in the world. They always tell us, I mean, we see teachers from other continents, other countries, the way they are being treated. So that of, if one comes home, the teachers, we need to commend them for still managing under severe condition. Because it's not easy for them to still be performing under this abnormal situation. But they are doing the job. They are doing it. They are doing it. And let us look at this way. There's no year that the students from primary school don't get admission to secondary school. There's no year where our secondary school now don't get admission to university to go and read many courses. So which means they are still there. But the fact is there are many myriad of problems, but it is not problems. If we see them, but they are surmounting all those problems. So they need to be commended.
All right.
Exactly.
You know, we'll still talk about the challenges faced by teachers.
Okay.
But if we just bring it back a little, what is the significance of today? World Teachers' Day that has been celebrated every year is that they set aside the UNESCO every high-ranking institutions are celebrating this day. In fact, in Paris also, UNESCO internationally said today, in fact, it will be days. Today is just day one for them. How significant, Mr. Oyeniyi, how significant is today celebrating the teachers?
Yes, that
this
is
today that have been set aside.
Thank you very much for that beautiful question. How did we come about World Teachers' Day? In fact, it's very funny. It started in India. Okay. It started in India. Yeah. There was once a teacher. When we say teacher, you know, teachers in the olden days, we too had them in Nigeria. They are real teachers. As my colleague said, they have passion, they have flair for teaching, and they believe they have to impart. So this teacher now, Dr. Safepali, he was a great teacher. Every student of him, they really appreciated him. The wife, the children, the community, everybody. He's a great teacher. So he now became the president of India. That was between 1962 to 1967. And the students, they now say, this was a great teacher. You become the president of India, a great country. We want to celebrate your birthday. They said, we want to celebrate his birthday. They now gather together, like alumni association, students, everybody gather. They say, let's celebrate. They now went to him. And they said, no. Don't celebrate my birthday. Use my birthday to celebrate teachers of the world. Use my birthday to celebrate teachers of the world. And that's how it started in India. But in 1966, UNESCO ILO Convention, they now met to ratify the status concerning teachers of teachers. That was October 5. Okay. So it was then now they ratified it. What are the things teachers now to enjoy? Not only in developed countries, even developed countries. They ratify many things for teachers. And many countries, including Nigeria, was a signatory. That's the irony of it. Many African countries with Nigeria, they are signatories to that convention. But in 1994, we now started the celebration of a World Teachers' Day globally. We now started it globally. It was 1994, it was Education International, World Bodies of Teachers. And now said, okay, let us be doing it globally. Indians, they were doing their own, being the pioneers. Others too, we are doing it. Even in US, some may spend 2 weeks, some may spend a week. Yes. Some may do this thing, but they now unified it in 1994. So that's how it started. So the significance is that they appreciate who is a teacher, as we have asked before. Yes. A teacher, as you have said, is somebody who is being trained and even has flair for that profession, believe in profession, bringing up children, mentoring. You see, a teacher believes that his children, the students he's teaching now, must be greater than him or her. That is the essence of being a teacher. We don't, because somebody now, a principal now, a principal knows he's a principal. But She wanted all our students to become medical doctors, to become journalists, to become engineers, and professionals. If she will not say, well, principal, you two now, you cannot be above me. Don't become a teacher, HOD. No. That's the something we call a, so the day is very significant to the teachers in the whole world, and we appreciate them.
Yes.
And you cannot appreciate them the more when you look back in your primary school. Who taught you A, B, C, D? Must you have known it?
Comrade, let me take that to Ms. Olatidoye. Are teachers celebrated enough? Do you think they have their flowers already? Especially in 2023, you know, we just talked about taking it back to primary schools. You know, we sang a song before you came, G Koloni were Kyomo on the assembly ground. For many of us that went to public institutions, primary, on the assembly ground, you have to do your hands like this, checking your nails. And if it's bad, you see one teacher come with coin with it, and then you know that you don't have to come tomorrow. Now, looking at possibly when you started your work newly, and what it is today, as teachers in Nigeria celebrated enough?
Well, let me just...
or have things improved?
Let me say that, looking back, there was a time when teachers were kings, back in those days.
How do you mean?
Yeah. You know, when schools, mission schools, the principal, the teachers, in fact, the teachers, they were highly revered in the community because they see them as, in fact, parents will use teachers to threaten their children. I will tell your teacher, and the child will behave. But as time went on, it appears as if the teaching profession was kind of relegated. Teachers were no longer celebrated as it used to be then. I remember stories of the likes of the principal of Oshobo Grammar School then, when they started, and some other old schools where the missions, you know, were responsible for. So teachers were highly revered. But as it is now, I wouldn't say teachers were revered or respected as much as before. There is still some bit of it, but not as much as it used to be.
Yes, still staying with you, Mrs. Olatidoye. I just to add to what Femi asked earlier about teachers, are they being celebrated? In as much, do we still have competent teachers these days?
Sure. We have competent teachers. The fact that, like Comrade said, the fact that we have students gaining admission into tertiary institutions, pupils gaining admission into secondary schools, points to the fact that teachers are actually still, there are still teachers that are dedicated. And you know, like in any profession, there may be one or two bad eggs, but there are still teachers who are doing the work with passion and are really committed to it.
Let me now, Comrade Oyeniyi, please help us. The recognition that teachers require at this moment in time, if we have to probably look at your days when you were in secondary school, or Mrs. Olatidoye as well, when you were in primary school, the way teaching profession, so Femi and I joked about it, that then remember that days when we were in primary school, if our parents would say, I will report you to your teacher.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Just please punish me now, please.
Rather than but these days, what it looks like with the advent of so many private schools, and no, don't beat my child, this and that. Teachers these days, would you still rate them as competent? Just as I asked.
Yes. As you have said, majority of them are very competent.
Very competent.
And I know for that. But we made some mistakes nationally about teaching profession. The first mistake we made was eradication of grade 2 colleges.
How do you mean?
Yes. I was a teacher. I was trained in the teacher training college here. But my first degree was not in education and my master's. But the thing, teacher training college, teacher training college, they planted in me. It is here. There now you learn the rudiment of teaching in the grade 2 teacher training colleges. In fact, that's what is missing now. In the NCE, it's an advanced teaching institution. They don't do it. They don't give teachers their degree, something they need. But the teacher training college, when you spend 3 years or you spend a year, what we call it okopankere, you will be trained in everything. To be creative. You will go to for teaching practice. You provide your own teaching aids. You write lesson note. Let me give an example. Yes. In our college, we have mango trees. It's part of training. There are mango trees there in Chattanooga by that time. If the tree is falling down, you dare not go there and pick it. You cannot do that. If you do that now, you are caught, you are gone. They will expel you. The day they want everybody to eat now, they will plug everything and serve everybody. That is part of training. And by that time, we have siesta, we have this thing. They were teaching us all aspects of life. You dare not insult your seniors. See, we have the same in teacher training. Seniority is forever. Because when somebody seniors you, you see your senior. In fact, I joke with my seniors up to now. When I meet them, I say, my senior. And my juniors, now when they see me, they say, Senior Wale. No, that is the training. These are the things that are lacking now. And the worst aspect of it, as you have said, is that in those days, teachers were being recognized in the community. But they are the one, the ballet, something we go for advice. They are the one that will do everything. And they are just too, I mean, they believe themselves and they believe what they can offer, and society recognizes them. In fact, a teacher in my grandfather's house was head of the community in the village. Our house, headmaster of our school, we will always be staying there freely. And my grandfather will be feeding him breakfast and the dinner. That's what they do for many teachers. They give them free accommodation. Can they do that now for teachers now? Nobody. You say you have to pay, you are getting something.
You know, one would say teachers were not too many then.
No. It's not that. It's not being too many.
Very many now.
It's not being too many.
So one will not be able to cater for their bill.
It's not being too many. It's because of the societal recognition, the way we do it. Societal recognition. You see, we lost the whole thing. Well, we thank God for Idowu Awards. Let me say that. Nigerian teachers. Before the Idowu Awards, teachers are not what we term workers. They don't term teachers as workers in Nigeria. You know, that is just a listen term. It was Idowu Awards when N.U.T now consulted their body, WCT by that time. That's what the body that time before we metamorphosed into Education International. They now sent powerful people now that can bag husband and wife who now help us. And by that time now, they make teaching professional. That was 1973. They now make teaching to be, their profession, they are now workers. So in those days, when she was started her job, if you as a woman, you want to go for maternity, you don't pay them. They just go. A woman go for maternity, it's 473. It's free, it's without pay. But they will get relievers. They call them relieving duty teachers to replace them for 3 months. But when Idowu comes now, make us to be workers, it's now they can now go and get being paid. So we're enjoying until something just started. And how did this happen? This politics just coming. And politics now, everybody now realizes money in politics. And they now relegate teaching profession. You will see teacher, you see your student have to taught. Student have to taught in primary school. Maybe I just gone out now become a counselor. And we just come with a car. My Oga, you are still here. You are still here. Then now teachers are now saying, what job am I doing? And as I've said, the population now rose. And the people now, the society now, did not contribute positively to the growth of teachers. When we were on your seat, I was N.U.T by that time. There were, when teachers were not being paid by local government authorities, there were some landlords. They would now say, house to let.
House for teachers.
Not for teachers. No. You see this thing now, you are degrading somebody's that
because people, teachers were poor.
Yes.
Is it?
Because you are degrading people who can make the nation great. I've just told you about that Dr. Safeli. He was a great teacher, and he saw himself as a teacher, even as a president. He made teaching to profitable in India up to today.
All right.
So many things went on, but teachers of Nigeria, they still tried to corroborate her.
All right. Mrs. Olatidoye, tell me, I want a vivid scenario. What does the day of a teacher looks like? When the teacher wakes up in a day, what does he or she do? Going to work, getting to work, what does it look like?
Well, a teacher's day is hectic. That's the summary of it. One, you remember that the teacher also has a family. He or she has to take care of his or her family. Wake up very early in the morning, ensure that the family end is catered for, and then gets to work and ensures that the students or pupils comport themselves. Now, I used to tell parents, I discovered that many parents, when there's holiday, let's say there's a public holiday, a midterm break, you see the way they will react. These children. So it's as if they don't even want them to stay at home because of their, the children are troublesome and all that. So I used to tell them, you have 2 children or 3 or maybe 4 that are staying with you at home. But a teacher has to cope with not less than, let's say, a class that is small, not less than 20 students. Not less than 20 students from different backgrounds. And take the total population of students in the school. Let's assume in a school there's a student population of, say, 500, 400, 300. The principal and the teachers have to cope with all this from different backgrounds, ensuring that, one, they teach them so that why they have come to school is accomplished. And the teaching is not just the academic. In fact, in my school, we talk, where I work presently, we talk about the holistic development of the child, which includes the physical, ensuring that that child is physically fit, is okay. Sometimes the child says, I've not eaten. You have to do something to make sure that the child is catered for. Mentally, that's you give the academic. Socially, ensure that that child conducts himself or herself well. Spiritually, all those things we have to cope with every day. Every day.
Basic responsibility or expectations of a teacher.
Of a teacher.
You have to do that. Every day.
Every single day in the school. A teacher has to do that.
To every child.
To every child.
Now, let me ask you, Ms. Olatidoye, being a female teacher, is it different from being a male teacher?
It shouldn't be.
But it is. Okay.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. Before you came in, while we were celebrating the teachers, in my former primary school, we used to, by the way, you used to call teachers, the female teachers, mommy that time, because they are older people and definitely they see you as their child. In fact, just like you said, your parents will report you to them, and whatever they do to you, your parents will applaud it as well. I will call the male teachers Baba. Whenever it's time, if there is a stubborn child, possibly very stubborn, they take you to Baba. Because that one will brutalize you and you'll never forget. So that's why I'm asking, either the passion in women being naturally mothers, does it pose an advantage over the men?
Well, somehow, in a way, it does. Because as mothers, just like in the home setting, the mothers are they have this natural soft spot for children. And therefore, it appears as if children are closer to their mothers. And for that reason, even in the school setting, the students, most of the time, are also close to female teachers, to some female teachers. However, that does not mean that the male teachers too. In fact, there are some male teachers that the students will go to and pour out everything in them rather than go to a female teacher.
Comrade, is that the same?
It's not.
Because when you see the faces of some male teachers,
it's not the same. Because
it's like a warrior is coming.
I have opportunity of teaching in girls' school, girls' grammar school, Ibadan.
Okay.
I spent 4 years there as a teacher. And as a teacher, I think it depends upon
your relationship.
Teachers themselves.
Yeah.
Not because a female or a male.
Oh, okay.
The girls' grammar school students, they usually call me our teacher, our master. That's how they call me. Why? The fact is, I believe, because now corporal punishment has been cancelled throughout the world. I mean, Nigeria has not cancelled it, but throughout the world, I mean, in many developed countries, they've cancelled the corporal punishment, like giving lances, gifting. So I believe because by that time, when I started from university, I have something in me, fighting for people, not injuring people, not making people have to be sad. So I don't beat Yejiri guys. I don't flog. So students saw me by that time, this man. And if you came there to my lesson, what I will do, just stay outside. They know me for that. But some teachers, we beat the stick and we beating them. So they usually.
But is it bad?
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's flogging.
No, it's not bad. Although flogging in the corporal punishment rule of Nigeria, not every Dick and Harry teacher can flog.
Who can flog?
Yes, the flog. If you want to beat, if you want to flog a puppy, it must be directed by a principal. That's the rule.
So there's a process.
Yes, there's a principal we direct. Give this girl, because he has done this, we've done that, we've charged you, give him or her 4 lashes or 5 lashes of K. And it will be recorded in the black book, logbook. It will be recorded. It must be recorded in the black book.
Is there anything still called black book?
Yes,
it still exists.
They call it logbook.
Is it useful?
People don't follow it.
Because I'm asking that when we were a little bit younger. So those are, I remember they now that you are talking about black book, they threaten us with black book, and they tell us if your name should enter the black book, you will not enter any.
I still tell my students even now.
I'm talking about primary school. And primary 2, they will tell you no school will admit you. You will be a bad child. You will not be useful. So you are careful that my name should not enter black book.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
And my one of the experiences in primary school, I think I was in primary 3 by that time. One of our teachers from Idowu was a Muslim, and he came to our school, district council school, government school. But he wanted to put us in the Islamic way. And then my father is a Christian, I'm a Christian.
By himself?
Yes.
That is not what the school wanted?
Yes. No. They did the population. They counted us. And Muslims are more than we Christians. So they now employed a Malim teacher. That Malim teacher was managing 2 schools.
Okay.
But the man now is a fundamentalist. By that time, he was assistant headmaster, or headmaster by that time. So there was something now they said we should recite on the line. And I protested. When I protested, he said, who's that guy? He said, okay, he said, I should come out. Why did you protest? I said, I'm a Christian. You dare not force me to do this thing. He said, who taught you that one? I said, well, I know myself. He said, why do I challenge? Instead of, I don't answer in the right way. He said, I should be flogged. And they should put my name in the logbook. So I was flogged. But many students, they were not happy. And they were afraid of me telling the parents at home, telling the church, telling everybody. So later now, he tried to become my friend. What I'm saying is that this man now became AG secretary. After later was school, he went to Ahmada Grammar School, now became AG secretary. And I was a unionist. being a unionist in Ibadan by that time, there's a problem for teachers of IEDD. I was now sent to that document. So immediately he saw me, he would look at me. I said, Oga, can you bless me? He said, yes, I cannot, but I know you are. I said, there was a boy you beat wrongly. I told him, you beat me wrongly, and the thing now is my head. And because of this, you see what I'm doing today now is what is in me from primary school. You know, fighting for people. I said, fighting for my own rights. He now said, as a young boy, the way you answered me, I remember, the way you answered me maybe to beat you. I said, well, teacher, they try to forgive us. That's why, answer your question.
All right.
If a teacher now is very tough, later the student will realize.
Yes.
Why?
We realize. And those tough teachers, they always instill teachers, students make it in life. They always instill students make it in life.
All right. Quickly, let me come back to Mrs. Olatidoye. Same, I'm going to ask Comrade as well. The usual saying that teachers' reward is in heaven. Does that still exist?
Is it still in heaven?
Is it still in heaven?
It's a misconception from the beginning.
Okay.
Teachers' reward is not in heaven alone.
And are they rewarded?
Sure, they are. They are, though not, maybe not as much as it should
wanted,
be. But I know teachers are rewarded because we have had instances of teachers who have taught some people, and those people came back, recognized their teachers, and rewarded them handsomely. There are examples. I remember they said something about Zibaba Obasanjo, about one of his teachers that taught him, and he came back, saw him, and rewarded him, gave him a position or something like that. There are, some instances of those who recognize their teachers and reward them. Some build houses for them, and a host of other things that they do.
Just a few days ago, I saw Nigerian international Victor Osimhen going back to his school and seeing one of his teachers. And it was like, there's been a moment sometimes, so many years ago, where I think I was the anchor at a party. And one of my teachers, Mr. Olatidoye, was there. And probably the usual style that he would come up with then in his he now saw me on stage and now came to the front. Are you not my boy? St. Patrick, I was like, okay, that was quite a whole of that. But let me go straight to Comrade Oyeniyi. Sir, the usual saying that education is the bedrock of development in any society. And of course, if you don't have quality education, it appears, it shows. But by and large, those instilling that form of education, discipline into the lives of others, how often, how well should they be trained? What should government do? Proprietors, proprietresses of various schools, what should they do to train and retrain this set of people?
Yes, I've said it that we got it wrong the day we eradicated teacher training colleges. That's the beginning of the problem of teaching in Nigeria. If you don't do that now, we will have got some quality teachers. Many people now, but by saying go to NCE, WASI, NTI, part-time, all those things now, just to answer your question, I think there are problems.
And what are they?
There are problems.
Yeah, let's look at it. The challenges.
The challenges. You see, teachers of this day, when I look at them, they need to be commended and appreciated.
So,
if you are working in an environment that is not conducive, environment that is hostile. Before we came in, she told me certain thing. She told me, this is my colleague, told me certain thing. And internally, I was not happy as a unionist. Somebody who worked for 35 years, day and night. And they've just released, she retired in 2017, according to her. They've released her bond. 2017, that's about 6 years. Do they want her to die? So these are the things that are crippling teaching. That are teachers of the day now, they say, okay, the commitment, level of commitment is no longer, the total commitment is no longer there. They may be flair. I mean, they may have flair. They have passion. But when you look back, when you look front, you look back, you look front, you say, these people now will not pay me well. They will not do me well. Let me first for myself. So these are the.
But one will say, is that peculiar to the teachers? Because you are talking about the civil service.
Civil service.
Like this challenge you just talked about. It's not only peculiar to teachers.
Yes,
civil service ministries as well.
There's one secret in the civil service people don't know.
What is it?
Yes, the fact is in teaching, no teacher can say bring 200 naira. Bring 200 naira, or for a service to be done. People will say, okay, you pay now, you've come now, 2,000. But in the ministry, I'm a unionist. And I worked for Osun here. We started Osun State here as a secretary. And we work together with the labor, with every something. You can't dare not go to the ministry. You want to do something. You tip those people. They get something from you.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's not right, but that is the system of society. Society have problems.
See now?
Up to today. The civil servants do it. But in teaching, nothing like that. There's nothing like that.
It must not happen.
And that is why, no, they can't even do, if you do that now, they go and report. So teacher cannot say, let me do this thing, because we are the models of society. They don't do it.
Even if the intentions are right, you are not allowed. Is that what you are saying?
You are not allowed. Except you want to, as I said, after you've left, you want to appreciate your teacher. You want, many people, and that's, let me just draw you back a little bit. They say teachers' rewards are in heaven. Not really heaven. It's when your student pass out. That's the saying. The meaning of that saying. Not when you, all of us die. No.
Yeah.
They are saying after they've left now, some of them now will come and reward you.
And appreciate.
And let me take this time out to appreciate one, like this Olaguju, the doctor. He was my student in Lambodan School. There was a day he was having a program with Oyinola. And he said, I was there, I was invited there. And he said, there's somebody there to him. I was there. I don't know what to me. He just said, and he mentioned my name, said, as you come up here. Oyinola said, Wale, Governor Oyinola there, said, you taught this man? I said, yes. I taught him as a young teacher. He said, he is what he is today because I taught him literature in modern school. That's why he has interest in English language and literature.
How did you feel that?
I'm very so happy. Anywhere he sees me, he recognizes me. And that's what the man is saying. You see, that is what we say, our rewards. Our rewards. And by that time, anything the government now wants to do in my hotel, you just bring people there, bring journalists there. You see, that's somebody's reward. You'll be happy.
How
many teachers, they are getting that now.
Yeah.
But if you are good, if you are good, as soon as you are good, if you are harsh to them, they will know you are doing it because you want them to make it in life.
How often should they be trained or retrained?
Yes, the training is part of ILO UNESCO convention that we signed. There's a provision there. Teachers throughout the world, Nigeria is a signatory. They said there should be training and retraining. In fact, there should be study leave with pay for teachers. Study leave with pay.
Does this still happen?
No. That's why it is no longer there. It is no longer there. Then during holidays, don't fact, there must be training and retraining. Then the principal, head teachers, they will gather the teachers and mentoring them. This is how to teach. This is how to do that. But all those things are no longer in Nigeria today.
All right.
We don't do it. And that's why we are getting many problems.
All right. Talking about statistics now, there is a report that was published in July by Punch newspaper, and I'll read them out.
Okay.
It's saying that the Universal Basic Education Commission, that's UBEC, revealed on his website that Nigeria had 47 million students that as of July. 171,027 schools, 1.68 million teachers. Now, is 2022 national personnel teachers, national personnel audit breakdown show that there were 354,651 teachers for 7.2 million students in pre-primary schools, 15,000 teachers for 32 million students in primary schools, and 416,291 teachers for 8 million students in junior secondary schools. Now, the number of registered teachers on the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, that's TRCN,
yes,
database by 2023 was 2.3 million teachers to cater for 40 million students. That's on the website of UBEC. Now, the report said Ogun, Osun, Ondo, Rivers, Kwara, Gombe, and Katsina State were plagued by the shortage of teachers in public schools. You know, that's teacher to student ratio now.
Okay.
You know, and talking about the challenges, in Ogun, 1,500 teachers recently retired without being replaced. While drastic shortfalls were also witnessed in rural and semi-urban areas in Kwara, Osun, Ondo, Lagos State, despite recruitment efforts. These are reports published by Punch in July. Now, looking at some of these statistics, how do teachers cope? Now, we're not just talking about teachers in government-owned institutions. We are talking about privately owned institutions as well.
Okay.
And I'll ask Mrs. Olatidoye, you've listened to this. You know, what do you make of this statistic that I've just read out?
Yeah, it's very true. And that's the reason why schools make use of, let me say, teachers who are not professionals, who are not trained professionally.
What are they called?
Anybody that does not have training in education is not a professional teacher.
So why hire them?
It's like, well, because we have to make up for the shortfall. We have to teach the pupils, teach the students, and there is no way we can do that without the human resource that we need. And where we cannot get...
Will those set of people deliver what you want?
Well, we monitor them, try to give training, try to do, you know, one or two things to bring them up. Then sometimes we encourage some of them who may be interested to acquire the education qualification through NTI.
Who pays them?
Pay the...
Those arrangements that you talk about, how are they paid?
They do it for themselves.
Voluntary?
They do it themselves. You know, because some of them, where they find themselves, you know, with the situation of employment in the country, if they find themselves in teaching, and with the TRCN saying that we should, you know, teaching should be professionalized rather, which is really true. Until we professionalize teaching, we may not be able to get the best out of the profession as expected. For instance, in public schools, there are no teachers, as many teachers as we want. So to make up for that, corpers are sent to the schools. And most of these corpers are not trained teachers.
Absolutely.
They are not.
Some of them don't even want to be there.
Some of them don't want to be there.
Is there a GI that comports?
So they, you know, you have to,
them,
like I was discussing with someone yesterday, I said, I don't want to experience having corpers too much because to manage them is a problem. They are not professionally trained and it's a lot of problems that they can add. They are not problems. I'm not saying they are problems.
But, you know, it's not the skill, the individual.
They don't have the skill. They are not trained to do that. So you can't blame them.
So, Mrs. Olatidoye, so what should be the basic requirement for a teacher to be called a teacher?
The basic requirement is to be trained as a teacher. Just like the basic requirement, you cannot, like you are a journalist, you can't just get here without having the training. You can't work in the hospital as a medical doctor without being trained as a doctor. So the teaching profession has to be fully professionalized. And I think one of the reasons why the teaching profession is relegated somehow is because we still have, you know, all kinds of people coming into the teaching profession because we don't have enough teachers. And like the theme for this year is saying that the
teachers
education we want.
The teachers we need for the education
teachers we need for the education we want. We must really get the teachers we need. And these must be trained teachers. They must be professionals to the core.
Comrade Oyeniyi, sorry, because teachers, that's why the system about teachers is a little bit relegated. No, but I still want to ask, these days with the advent of private schools and what have you all over the country, do you still think the teaching profession is still enticing? Is it enticing?
No. People want to? No, it's not. Do people want to teach at all? We've not got there. We've not got there.
But it was much more like this before,
yes,
sir.
Yes, and you see, the one opportunity somebody like me have is that every 4 years we go for World Conference and we interact with teachers throughout the world.
What conference?
Yes, we call it Education International.
Okay.
That's all teachers in the world. We have that World Conference every 4 years.
Okay.
So we interact, we do at times now I give lecture, at times now I've been participant. You see, in Nigeria, we've not got it right yet. We've not got it right as he has said. For you to be a teacher, the first thing for you now is to be trained. And then now that they've started grade 2, you just have to go to NCE, which is the minimum now, and then B.Ed or M.Ed, or you go for PGD, regarding diploma in education. And not that alone, you will now register with the TRCN. TRCN now, they've started conducting examination for you to be admitted.
That's a professional body.
Professional body now. Although N.U.T forced them.
Okay.
And they are not doing, as we have said, they are not doing what the law says they should be doing. They don't do it much. Anytime now I have opportunity to be challenging their director general, they don't do it. They're supposed to go to private schools, not only public schools. They're supposed to go there and say, okay, let me see your certificate, let me see your license. You know, we have teachers have license. We have license. Where they got it wrong first was that the license now should be for 2-3 years, like other professional bodies.
Renewable.
But in Nigeria, they don't renew. I've told them that's not that's not the intention. TRCN. Because they just get real money. They don't do what they're supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be doing. Because and a teacher, anybody calls a teacher that is caught, you go to 21 years jail. You don't know that. A quack teacher.
It's constitutional.
It's in the law.
Can be prosecuted.
Yeah, be prosecuted and 31 years in prison. But the TRCN will sit down in their office. We expected people now to come to bring money. And I've told them, people renewable license, they don't do it in TRCN. They don't renew. I said, because now teachers are many, they're just getting, these are the ways now you have to make it. Like if you're a doctor now, your license now may be 2 years. After that, now you renew it and you pay. Or yearly, some professions. But in their TRCN, once you are registered, they don't say you are registered.
How does it work with the N.U.T? Is N.U.T a professional body?
No. We know we are professional from trade union.
Okay.
In fact, we forced government now to create TRCN.
Okay.
Is
the TRCN that standardized?
Yes, standardized.
That monitors the operation of teachers?
Is the federal government organ.
Okay.
Monitoring us.
So what does the N.U.T do?
No,
Nigerian Union of Teachers.
Yes, N.U.T is a registered trade union.
It's a trade union congress.
For all teachers in primary and secondary.
All right. Okay. All right. We'll still have quite some questions to go, but we should go on a short break now. You know, we've been talking for a while. When we come back, I'd like to ask you about curriculum. You know, things that every education has a curriculum. What should we follow? What should we do? And many questions on that as well. And of course, we have been speaking with Comrade Wale Oyeniyi, who worked at some time with the top echelons in Abuja for teachers, retired now. And of course, Mrs. Olatidoye, who is a retired public secondary school principal, and of course, still a principal as well. We'll be back after this break. We'll be talking about World Teachers Day, matters arising about it. It's still Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Educated at Raffles Institution from 1936 to 1940 and the Fiza William House between 1947 and 1949, Lee Kuan Yew established a highly effective and anti-corrupt governance system the midwives the transformation of Singapore into a high net worth income economy within a generation. He never hid his exception to Western mode democratic ideal, which he believed had not assisted developing nations to attain good government. Before his death on 23rd March 2015, the People's Action Party, which he founded, had used his political influence to establish the United World College of Southeast Asia to expand his economic ideas among countries that constitute the Asian Tiger. Western Spring Television identifies Lee Kuan Yew as a major character in history. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white supremacists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history.
You're welcome back. It's still World Teachers Day. That's what we're talking about today, celebrating all teachers across the globe. And of course, we still have our guest, Comrade Oyeniyi and Mrs. Olatidoye. Super teachers, I must say. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about the curriculum. Some have said that the curriculum that we have in this country, that it is not skill-based. It is not tailored towards solving problems. It's just about being literate, having some knowledge, you know. And some nations of the world, they have a path, a direction that they go. Possibly for the next 10 years, these and these are the way we are going, and everything will be tailored towards achieving that. And possibly it has helped some of these nations. Comrade Oyeniyi, do you share the same sentiment?
No. The fact is, we are still using 6334. Am I not right? The 6334 education system.
Although it was abolished in this state at some point. That's 6334.
So in the whole nation, we have 6334. That policy is good, but we have problem of implementation. That's what we have. Our curriculum is good.
How do you mean?
Now, 6 is for primary education. 3 is the first junior secondary school. In the junior secondary school, the next 3, after 6, they now look at the students according to abilities. Some that are bookish, they are the ones that will go to university. When you know they are bookish oriented, they will go to Polytechnic, they will go to NC. But those that are skillful, we go to teacher and we go to technical colleges.
Who identifies them?
No, it's the teacher. They have counselors. You see, these are the things where we got it wrong. Where we got it wrong. Do that in those days?
Do that unit still exist?
Exists.
Guidance and counsel.
Yes, they still have them in schools. Though some of them,
not that they have them.
Some of them,
they still work.
Some of them have retired.
Comrade.
Yes, they don't give them real job to do. A counselor now, you know, to be a counselor, you specialize in one subject.
Yeah.
When you have math teacher, you don't have English teacher. You say, okay, come and be. These are principles. They say, come and be teaching English. Come and teach something.
So they don't really get to do their work.
Counselors, when we say counselors, is a job on its own to be identifying students, to be know their performances, to be know what they should become in future. You see, in one of our world meetings, the Japanese teachers, they now lecture us. They said, you know, this problem of atomic something, when it happened in Japan, they suffered in the two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They said we suffered. They were telling us that. So after the war, they now sat down. They said, what is our problem? Why do American come from their own something and threw something at us and defeated us? They now say it's because of lack of proper education. They now streamline the education system. That is why you have something now made in Japan. Japan is now one of the world bodies.
Of course, top economy.
Yes. What they did, what they said they did was that they now divide the primary school teachers. They said we have to start from the scratch, as we did in Nigeria. They said a fraction we go for training, we go for technical training. When those people return, another set we go. Then if they are recruiting, they say you go for training, and before that now they are building their primary school, primary to secondary school.
That is towards solving a problem.
Some problems.
That's what I was talking. Do we have the same thing?
Technological problem. When we started 6334, there's a workshop. There's workshop and the technical workshop. There is in every school. And they wasted a lot of money there. They wasted a lot of money so that they identify the students who will be technical oriented, will do this, will do that. But now in the implementation, we teach everything. And you have done the course of our discussion. In fact, one case in Osun, the thing made me sad. I have to tell you. About that time,
what case?
Yes, case of eradicating 6334 system. It's a very bad omen that happened to this state. And this state will not leave that thing maybe the next until next 10 or 15 years. It's a very bad thing. When you now say you have primary, you have middle school, and you have something. You see, it's very bad. And I was a member of National Council of Education, or JCC. I've been taking Osun, I've taken Osun. I will tell them at the meeting in Abuja that Osun is not following, by that time, was not following the educational policy.
All right.
And the Osun, people from Osun, they just went underground. But they say, is there anybody from Osun? I said, they will not show up. Because they know what they are doing was bad. So if they follow this 6334 educational system, they don't have problem. This is a principle. But now they don't follow it. Maybe lack of teachers. They don't have well with that now. They don't have money for equipment. They don't have anything. And even the students themselves, they are not ready. But everybody now, after the first three, they just say, let me do something. And they went to senior secondary. After senior secondary now, you now be going somewhere. You don't know your skills. And no nation can grow if you don't get it right technologically.
All right, quickly comment because our time is fast spent and I still have about 3 different things. But let me still stick with you. Will you align or will you disagree? As politics entered into the teaching profession?
Politics.
As the teaching profession, has it been politicized?
I will say the politicians have destroyed the teaching profession.
In what way?
It has not entered us, but they've destroyed. They've destroyed with their policy. They've destroyed the education system.
With
this
policy.
This is I said now, when the politicians have destroyed it. Then two is that when, for instance, N.U.T is saying we should have this, we have shortage of teachers, and we want government to listen to us. They will enter to us and say, don't listen to your leaders. They will sponsor some people. They want to weaken us.
Divide and rule.
They want to weaken us. So these are the politics have not entered us, but they are using politics now to kill teaching profession.
What's the teaching profession looking like, and what are the kind of teachers we have here in Osun State? I want you with you're a unionist as well.
Okay.
Looking at government, we remember what happened in twilight of the last administration, employment of some teachers, and by and large, this administration had to let them go for now. What is it looking like? The state of teachers in Osun State at this moment in time?
Personally, I was not happy by saying teachers that were recruited should go. No, they were recruited wrongly. I mean, at the wrong time. There's a saying that say do the right thing at the right time. Not the right thing at the wrong time. But notwithstanding, She has said it, and it's everywhere. We have shortage of teachers in the state, primary, secondary. So just look at that. And those people now wrongly or timely, wrong time recruited, they are needs of Osho State. So I think it's a very bad policy. As much as I support this government and advise them, but anything they do that is bad, I have to condemn. What they did now is not a good thing. They should allow these people now, they should allow them or conduct press interview for them immediately. Conduct press interview for them immediately, and you just, by saying they should go away, yes, have a committee, adopting that committee. I don't think the committee has submitted this report up to now.
Is there a need for teachers in Osho State? There's a need for teachers.
Many teachers to be recruited. To be recruited. They have shortages. When you listen to them, when they come to, at time now they come to me, now, they say, look at our school. I say, okay, what shall we do? I will now go to the N.U.T because they say this to me, I still cancel them. Let's do this thing. So that's what the case. Many shortages.
All right. Now,
because that's an area she was saying. When you look at public school, a teacher ratio is about 1 to 48 to 50 in a class.
Now?
Yes, you also said.
Ideally,
secondary school.
Ideally, what should
the UNESCO recommended 1 to 20. And that is different between primary, private, and primary. Because once you have 1 to 48 to 50, you can't do mentoring. You can't do monitoring. You can't mark there something as you should do it.
All right. Time is really of essence. Let's talk about standardization of teachers. What is the N.U.T doing about that? You know, yes, it's a union, you know, to agitate for welfare of its members. But then one will say the N.U.T is not just to ask for his right and welfare and the rest of the thing. Is there a part the N.U.T is playing to make sure that its members are doing their work? That there have been complaints of teachers coming to school to sell this, to sell that, and to leave the classes and to go and hustle, the way we call it now. What part is the N.U.T playing? And how will you rate them currently, especially looking at the facilities that they have? If our producers can just help with some of these facilities that we see, especially in public institutions, starting with the N.U.T.
Yes, not because I'm being made by N.U.T and I'm still a N.U.T man. N.U.T have tried, and they are still trying. This TRC, emergence of TRC, it was handiwork of N.U.T. In fact, we were on strike for three days throughout Nigeria before government can listen to us now to create TRC. That's what the first thing they've done. They said professional loss record or something. Then two, there's what we call study circle program. Study circle program is sponsored by Swedish Teachers Union that are proponents. As small as they are still sponsoring us in Nigeria so that we have training for our teachers. And we do that study circle in every look and cleaning of the state throughout Nigeria.
All right.
In fact, there's an officer being put in charge. We are now, we tell them what you should do as a teacher, what you do as a unionist, what we do as a teacher, as a principal, so that training has started for more than 15, 20 years. And we are doing it. Though it's foreign sponsored. They sponsor us. They spend all the money from Sweden. So they are doing that thing. But the fact is, when you want to instill discipline at times, there are challenges they will now raise. For somebody now, when they look at our mama here, who did everything, and you know those people, all those people, when they started, it's not all that easy. When they did that, she rose to be a principal, now emeritus principal. And she has not got anything. And they be seeing her. You will say, look now, somebody who left 6 years ago has not got anything. Won't I plan for my own future? So that is where the problems are. Government don't really take care of teachers as it should be. There was a time these student teachers, they came to Nigeria. When they came to us now, by that time there was Sketch, that newspaper. And in Sketch, he now saw teachers are resigning as headline. The man just picked up and said, Nigeria, teachers now resigning. He said, in Sweden, it's not like that. He said, once you are being employed as a teacher in Sweden, they will give you 3-bedroom bungalow.
That was when?
Up to today. Up to today.
Wow.
Ask anybody in Sweden. They will give you 3 bedroom. Your 2 children, you know, the record of 2 children. 2 children from primary to university is free of charge.
All right.
And they now said they are making the opponent, that's their teachers union there. They're making them to be redundant. In what way? They said they will just increase their salary without telling the union, without telling anybody. A teacher will just walk into the bank and say, look at what I got. You employ
so there's no reason for the unions to agitate.
Yes.
We will get there.
And that is why they are sponsoring us in Nigeria as small as they are.
Yeah. And yes, Ms. Olatidoye.
As we gradually coast home this morning, Nigeria is a country with abundance of talent. If you have to look at it from the medical line, you've seen Nigerians out of this country. The Jackpot syndrome, teachers are living in exodus. How can this be renewed? How can there be a revival in the teaching profession so that we don't lose quality hands anymore?
Well, the thing is, one thing I want us to understand is that education has been politicized, and playing politics with education, which is the bedrock of our development, is a bad thing to happen. You know, like the various examples he cited, people in those climes, they take education as, you know, a very important priority in their system. Now, let me just refer back to the 634 education system, which is a very good policy. On paper, very good. Imagine when we started this policy, 6334, if we had followed it to the letter, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But go to all those public schools. I remember then I just started work newly, not as a fresh graduate. There were technical workshops where students are expected to, those who can make use of their hands, where they are expected to learn some skills and all that. But if you go to public schools today, all those technical workshops are completely destroyed, vandalized, and all that. You can't get, with the millions of naira then spent on those things are no more there. So until when the government does not politicize education, where they don't toy with education, every politician will come and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do with education. And the teachers are usually, you know, on the hot seat when such policies, whatever they do. And so every teacher is now trying to, nobody wants to, like the Yoruba saying that, will not be part of it. All right, we are being told we have to go. We have less than 2-3 minutes to round it off, and I have like a couple of questions. First one is 30 seconds. What role does students or pupils and parents have to play in all of this? 30 seconds. Okay. Parents have to cooperate with teachers to help guide their children because these are some of the things we face. And it's part of the failure of the 6334. Because parents will say, no, this is what I want my child to do. This is what, if you say after the first 3 years of the junior secondary school, this child we see can be good in this area, let him or her go to the technical college. Parents will tell you no. So they have to cooperate with the teachers to have a total child. Exactly. Thank you very much. We have been speaking with Comrade Wale Oyeniyi, who was a Deputy Secretary General of N.U.T Head Office in Abuja. Thank you for being here. And once again, happy Teachers Day to you.
We thank
as well.
We thank the teachers in Osun State, Nigeria, and the world.
Thank you.
Happy celebrations.
Yes, Mrs. Funmilayo Olatidoye, the principal, Zion Baptist High School, and he has referred to you as Principal Emeritus.
Yes, she is. She is.
Congratulations to every teacher. Happy Teachers Day to you
happy
as well.
Teachers Day to all teachers.